Hi guys, so we are continuing the B module and we are doing the next topic which is B2, which is application of ratio proportion. It's a very quick and short topic which has two subtypes in which one of them is partnerships and the other one is mixtures. So let's first see the first half, which is partnerships. So suppose there is a storytelling involved. There's a small story, obviously, as usual. Suppose there are three friends, A, B, C, and they are starting a new business. And in that new business, they are suppose investing 16 lakh, 12 lakh, and 20 lakhs respectively. And they are investing for 12 months, 8 months, and 6 months respectively. And if such is the case, then there are two types of partnerships which are possible. One of them is simple partnership. And if it is a simple partnership, the point that you are supposed to remember here is that the ratio of the profits and losses shared will solely depend on the investment. So in simple word, जिसका सबसे ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट उसका सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट या उसका सबसे ज़्यादा लॉस होगा. So जो भी इन्वेस्टमेंट का रेशियो है दैट इज द रेशियो ऑफ प्रॉफिट. दैट मीन्स इट इज 16:12:20. Obviously we should reduce it to the lowest form wherever possible, so that gives us 4:3:5. So the point that you are supposed to remember is, if it is a simple partnership, the ratio of profits and losses will depend only and only on the investments. Now obviously you know that this is not the real life scenario. Obviously in real world it will not only depend on the investment, but it will also depend on the time duration for which they are investing the amount. And that is what the second type is all about, which is basically compound partnership. So if it is a compound partnership, then the ratio of profits and losses shared will depend on both the things, investment as well as time duration. So ए का बेसिकली प्रॉफिट या लॉस होगा 16:12. सब में से लैक एंड सब में से मंथ हमने पहले से ही कैंसिल आउट किया है. एंड बी के लिए होगा 12:8 एंड सी के लिए होगा 20:6. Now as usual, these are going to be big numbers, and because it's a ratio, you should reduce to the lowest possible form. So there is something that you can follow. So the point that you can follow is just a simplification note, which is that you don't multiply them to such big numbers, because eventually you will have to reduce them to 8:4:5, which will be a task. So what ideally we would suggest here is that instead of multiplying in the first place, you try and reduce the common factor earlier only, and then once you are not able to reduce anything common, then at the very last step you multiply everything. So for example, instead of multiplying 16:12 and all of those numbers together first, try and cancel out something that you can figure out. So I can see 4 common, I can see 6 common. So suppose if we cancel 4 throughout, we are left with 4, 3, 5. Then if we cancel by 2, and then eventually we cancel by 3. And once you are done with all the cancellation, so basically 4 and 6 यानी 4, 2, 3 यानी वही हुआ, 4 and 6 common cancel किया, and after that this is what you are left with. And then now there is nothing else which is common. So once you are left with nothing as a common part, then you multiply in the last place. So when you now multiply, what actually you get is, you get the same answer, 8:4:5, but obviously very less efforts, and you don't have to reduce huge numbers. You're just simply multiplying the simple numbers. So this is a pro tip that you can follow here, which is simply related with the simplification part, which is the solving part. So these are the two types of partnership. One is simple, one is compound partnership. Obviously there are a couple of notes that we can explore, which will also further help you to enhance the idea and help you to solve the different types of the question. The first of the note is obviously that if nothing is mentioned about the nature of the partnership, then obviously you assume that to be a compound partnership, because that is what is the real life scenario is. So you always assume it to be compound partnership. The second note is a little important from a very different perspective, is that suppose there is an employee or a partner is supposed to be given a salary. So what you are supposed to do is ideally deduct that salary first from the profit amount, and then once you have deducted the salary from the profit amount, whatever is the amount left, that you are supposed to divide in the desired ratio. So if you don't deduct the salary and if you divide the profit in the ratio, that is a wrong way of simplification. So the first thing that you should do is again read the data question properly. If there is a partner or an employee is given a salary, whatever is that amount, deduct that first from the profit and then divide the remaining profit in the desired ratio. So these couple of notes will further solve your questions as far as the different categories of questions are concerned. So this is the first part of the topic, which is partnership. The second part of this particular topic is basically mixtures, and this has been explained with the help of one simple question. Let's read the question first. It says a vessel contains milk and water in the ratio 3:5. When 6 liters of water is added to this solution, the ratio of milk and water becomes 5:9. How many liters of the solution was present in the vessel originally? So you can do this question with 2-3 different types. We'll at least explore 2 of them, which are very easy to understand also. So one of them is, obviously, you can think of ratios. Now when we say that ratio of milk and water is in the ratio 3:5, that means it can be any multiple of 3 and 5, need not to be 3 and 5 itself. So obviously we'll take it as milk as 3x and water as 5x. Then what we are doing is, to that mixture we are adding 6 liters of pure water. So obviously that 6 liters should be added in the water part only, which is 5x basically, and because of which the new ratio of milk and water becomes 5:9. So once we form the equation, this is how the equation looks like. So 3x upon 5x plus 6. Why plus 6? Because we are adding water, so that has to be added in the water part itself, and the new ratio becomes 5:9. Now all you have to do is solve this cross multiply. You will get the value of x. Once you get the value of x, which I think turns out to be 15, the question was, if you remember very clearly, that how much total solution was present in the vessel originally. And if you remember, originally milk और water का ratio था 3:5, यानी basically हमने assume किया था 3x milk है और 5x water है, यानी total is 8x, x is 15, 8x हो जाएगा 120 liters. So the answer to this question is, originally कितना present था? तो originally 120 liters of the solution was present in the vessel. So this is how you can solve this question using equations wala approach. But the thing about this particular approach is that you need to form the equation correctly, unless otherwise you will make a miss of it. So be careful. And second reason that why there has to be an another approach is obviously that this is not algebra that we are doing. So obviously you can definitely think of something else apart from equation, because algebra जब करेंगे तो सिर्फ और सिर्फ equations की ही बात होगी और कोई approach कोई method नहीं चलेगा वहाँ पे. So this is not algebra. So can we think of something else? Yes, definitely, and which is even much better. I personally like that scene better. So the second approach that we will see is basically the method of parts wala approach, which is very interesting. And so far you know that we have been talking about this constantly since day one. And what is this method of parts wala approach? Let's explore that. But before we start with this, there's a prerequisite on this side, is that whatever is your question, and if you are applying method of parts in this particular mixtures wale question, the first thing that you should always do is figure out the no change component. So in this entire process, कौन सा ऐसा component है जो जरा भी change नहीं हुआ है? Obviously answer to that is milk. So if you remember, हमने 6 liters water ऐड किया था. मिल्क तो पहले जितना था अभी भी उतना ही है, बस उसका खाली concentration थोड़ा dilute हुआ होगा because we added 6 liters of water. But quantity पहले जितना था अभी भी उतना ही होगा. So milk is the no change component. So first step, you identify the no change component. Second step, you make that no change component equal. मतलब milk is the no change component, अपने को क्या करना है? milk को equal करना है. And if you remember, रेशियो पहला था 3:5, यानी मिल्क था 3 और बाद में पानी ऐड करने के बाद रेशियो हो गया 5:9, तो दूसरा वाला मिल्क है 5। तो एक मिल्क है 3 और एक मिल्क है 5, दोनों को करना है इक्वल। दैट मीन्स अगेन वी हैव टू टेक द एलसीएम। सो 3 एंड 5 का एलसीएम एज यूजुअल 15, दोनों को 15 करना है। एक से 3 को मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, एक को 5 से मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा। सो जो 3 वाला है उसको 5 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो वो हो जाएगा 15 पार्ट्स, एंड ऑब्वियसली उसका जो पार्टनर है वाटर उसको भी 5 से मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज मिल्क और वाटर का रेशियो 3:5 का कांस्टेंट रहना चाहिए। एंड व्हेन वी डू दैट, वाटर बिकम्स 25, 5 into 5 gives you 25 पार्ट्स ऑफ वाटर। जो दूसरा वाला मिल्क है विच इज़ 5, उसको अगर 15 करना है तो मल्टीप्लाई बाय 3 करना पड़ेगा, बट उसका जो पार्टनर है वाटर उसको भी फिर मल्टीप्लाई बाय 3 करना पड़ेगा। एंड व्हेन वी डू दैट, व्हाट हैपेंस इज milk तो becomes 15, 5 3s are, but water becomes 9 3s are 27. So first step, no change component. You will understand something, and what you are actually understanding right now or observing here is that water change हो गया, milk तो same हो गया, but water थोड़ा change हो गया। पहले था 25, अब हो गया 27, in fact बढ़ गया। So what you can do is you can understand here that the water is in fact increasing by 2 parts, from 25 parts to 27 parts. And if you logically try to think of this, why this water would have been increased by 2 parts, obviously because we added 6 liters of water. So what we can conclude here is the addition in the water by 2 parts is because we added 6 liters of water, and that tells us 2 parts is 6 liter, 1 part is 3 liter. And if you remember, the question was originally कितना solution present था vessel में। originally if you remember, milk and water का ratio था 3:5, जो अब 3:5 नहीं 25 और 15 हो गया है, which turns out to be 40 parts. 2 parts is 6 liter, 1 part is 3 liter, 40 parts is 120 liters. So you get the same answer, but a very very unique and a different out of the box way of thinking to solve that question. So let me repeat this process one more time so that you make a quick note of this. Always first of all assume what is, first of all figure out, not assume, sorry, figure out what is no change component, which is milk in this case. Whatever is your no change component, make it equal by taking the LCM. Once you make that equal, obviously the other component changes, and that change you just have to compare why it has changed. So here water 25 से 27 हो गया, यानी 2 parts से बढ़ गया because we added 6 liters of water. So 2 parts is 6 liter. क्वेश्चन था ओरिजिनल कितना था, ओरिजिनल 3:5 यानी 25 50 यानी 40 पार्ट्स मिक्सचर था, मिल्क और वाटर कंबाइंड होकर 40 parts is 120 liters. Same answer 120 liters, but a very different and a unique way of looking at it. So folks, that's it as far as application of ratios and proportion is concerned. Very very simple, straightforward types of the question, partnerships and mixtures. Go through them. If you have any questions, if you have any queries, do let us know. We will be happy to help you out. Thank you so much. Have a good day.